Keelan at least, is to talk about, we've identified the playbook and how it's so similar across the world. And what can be done about it? What should people in the audience be thinking about at this point in time?
Okay, I would say 4 things, and I'll do it quickly. First is, you're quite right about the businesses leaving Hong Kong and there being no ticker tape parade, Mark. So a lot of businesses are voting with their feet and moving quietly. But actually, in every single case I've ever done involving a journalist who's been imprisoned and where we've got the journalist free, it's been because we worked out what the leverage is. Now, sometimes the leverage is a prisoner swap or it's paying a debt. It's something like that. With a country like Hong Kong, really, or with a country like China, what you're dealing with is something much more pernicious. And you need to start looking at how do you hit them where it hurts. And one of the key ways you hit Hong Kong where it hurts, for precisely the reasons Dennis gave, is hitting them in relation to business. So actually, when businesses leave, I suggest you should hold a ticker tape parade, and you should be loud about it, and you should explain why you're going. That's item 1. Item 2, I think, is that governments cannot and should not be complicit in what I would call business washing. Now, we see that with Hong Kong. How do we have a situation where, in Hong Kong, you have had a 7,000% increase in political prisoners since June 2019? You now have 1,841 prisoners of conscience imprisoned in Hong Kong from 26 in June 2019. That puts them in the same territory as only 2 other countries worldwide, Belarus and Myanmar. But when people think about Belarus and people think about Myanmar, they know they're dealing with a bully state. But you have these golden blindfolds with Hong Kong, as if you're somehow dealing with a place which is business as usual, a financial centre. And governments are complicit in that. And governments, including the UK, need to change.
It's interesting because the US is very different. So they've titrated up their warnings to business, whereas the Brits haven't. So what were your other points?
Yeah, so my third point was exactly that, which is media organisations. Unfortunately, one of the things I often see is when you have a situation like a journalist being imprisoned, for example, you suddenly get a media organisation starting from scratch and thinking, how do we use the United Nations? Who are the key interlocutors who can engage with, say, Russia, Egypt, Iran, China, whatever the country is? As well as doing robust risk assessments on an ongoing basis, you also need to have contingency plans in place. Now, look, Jimmy Lai is a situation where you've had state-sponsored theft of a successful media business. José Rubén Zamora's case is state-sponsored theft of a business, a hugely successful media organisation. These are cautionary tales for anyone who wants to do journalism in Hong Kong, in Guatemala, in any other country which uses these tactics. And then the fourth thing that I would say, really importantly, is we're in a room full of incredibly talented, brilliant journalists, storytellers, people who speak truth to power every day. And in these 2 emblematic cases, above all, we would say, tell their stories, shout from the rooftops, and call out the hypocrisy which allows so many states to continue engaging with Guatemala and with Hong Kong as if they're not bully states, and continues to treat Hong Kong as if it's business as usual when people like Jimmy Lai are behind bars and people like Dennis are targeted. So for that reason, all of us on the panel are wearing free José Rubén Zamora stickers, and we all feel very strongly that we should be sharing selfies saying, free Jimmy Lai. We're told that in the coffee room there will be materials available, and we'd ask all of you, please, to share the story, tell the story. These are complicated, difficult, slow burn cases, and we need to ensure that the stories are told. That's the only way we're going to get change.
Thank you.